Oh, wait, I can look at chat.
Ludicrous speed!
Jeez.
Go!
Everybody, welcome to Cocktail Time here at 4Player Network. It is Friday night, which can only mean one thing in particular, and it's that it is time to drink luscious drinks and talk about video games. Hey everybody, how you doing? My name is Joseph Christ. I am host of Cocktail Time here at 4Player Network, and with me tonight, a familiar face. Mr. Brad Simons. How you doing, Brad?
Hello.
Brad with a bottle
You scared me with that music. I didn't think it was going to be so loud in my ears.
You're not used to the music, how loud it is. No. I wasn't either. I kind of messed that up, I think. So, and also, Bob Webb. How you doing, Bob?
Doing pretty good.
Pretty good. Brad, are you holding up a bottle of tequila? Is that what
This is a bottle of tequila. Indeed it is.
Oh, man. I cannot do tequila.
And an energy drink.
That's a good combination.
Ooh.
That's a good combination.
And a water.
And a water. You'll need that. You'll need that. And that's a good segue for our Toast of the Week. I'll go first. My Toast of the Week is going to actually BioWare, because I've been watching a bunch of the Dragon Age Inquisition videos, and I'm getting really pretty excited about that game. There's that 16-minute one that came out a while ago, and I kind of been watching it a few times. Anyway, we can talk about that later, but I need some Dragon Age. I need some good RPG love, and I think, we're going to talk about Divinity too, and I want to ask Brad about that as well. But anyway, so my toast is going out to BioWare just because my hype train is starting to flow, and I basically just had some vodka in some lemonade here that I'm drinking tonight. That's my toast of the week. Bob, why don't you go next?
So, I decided to bring black.
Bring black?
Already.
Hello.
Bring black. Bring back some of the more classics that I used to do. I'm actually doing a little fancy drink tonight. I got a nice little glass. And Brad's mentioned he was drinking tequila, so I thought I would, step him up. I got a margarita flavored Four Loko.
Oh, God.
And I noticed the Four Locos actually have like a little plastic tab on top now.
Really?
So pull it up. It's a quality seal.
Oh
so
my!
You know the shit's legit. It has been tampered with.
Make sure it's sterile inside.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm actually kind of afraid. I don't know if Four Locos and malt liquor tend to be one of those types of drinks.
Right.
You pour it out into a glass. It's not the color you expect it to be.
You don't want to see it.
Yeah. Oh no, this is it looks like urine.
Yeah, it's good.
That's kind of what I expected.
Let's take a look. Let me see in the camera. What is it?
No, not thinking of them. Yeah, it's a.
Oh, wow!
Like piss.
It looks like hobo piss. Yeah.
Yeah, it tastes like it too.
I almost drank a bucket of urine once.
Well, I want to hear that story after we're done.
Okay.
And what are you toasting tonight, Bob?
My toast. I guess it's gonna have to go to. Well, there's so much shit I can't talk about, but the one thing I did play and I can talk about is I guess I'll give it to the Fulbright Company because I actually played Gone Home.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of out of nowhere.
Just now?
I played it like 2-3 days ago on Tuesday. Yeah, finally played it and beat it.
That's a good game.
Yeah, I was very impressed.
Imagine if it was a Batman game.
That could be cool.
Yeah. All right, Brad, what's your toast for tonight? What are you drinking?
I have tequila. That's been sitting in my freezer for quite a while. I'm just going to be drinking out of the bottle. Probably not too much, but it's going to be bad. And I have a Rockstar here and a bottle of water.
All right, nice.
And an empty stomach. So
you are ready to go. All right, let us do our shots then...
Wait,
What's the toast?
what am I toasting?
Oh, what are you toasting? God, I always forget. I
I'll
always
tell you what I'm
mess this up.
toasting.
So excited.
I'm toasting $75 Xbox 360s because I found an Xbox 360 Slim for $75.
Nice.
That's a pretty good deal.
It was a pretty... you know what the best part of it was? I watched a video and it's like how to take apart your old 360 flat hard drive and use it on your 360 Slim. Apparently it's the same goddamn hard drive. It's literally plug and play.
Yeah.
You just gotta rip the shell off the old one and jam it into the new one, and it fucking works. It was great. It worked, and now I'm back to playing 360 games. And you know what? The 360, that's what I'm gonna toast, because although maybe now's a good time to buy a PlayStation, last generation, I still think that was the console to own. So
I totally
I'm gonna
agree.
I'm gonna toast my 360.
Oh, I like that. I like that. All right, let us do it then. 1 and 2 and 3.
Oh, fuck, that was a mouthful of tequila.
Oh.
Yeah, that's tequila for you. I can't.
What kind of tequila is that?
I don't know. El Amo.
That's the good kind.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Though I specifically remember the last time I had tequila, and it was in 2001. No. It was in 19. No, it was in 2001. I had moved back to York, Pennsylvania for a year, just to kind of hang out with some friends down there and whatnot. And I was with my friend Nick Regano, who I went to college with. And
Fucking Nick.
And we were drinking a lot, which we did often, and reading aloud from a book by Henry Rollins, as we did often. And I drank a lot of tequila, and I remember I passed out on the floor, and I woke up in the middle of the night, sick to my stomach, and I was trying to get to the bathroom. And earlier that day, I had tuna salad, and I didn't make it to the restroom because I couldn't stand, and I was crawling on the floor trying to get to the bathroom at the same time throwing up like tuna salad and tequila onto his carpet. No, it was onto his wood floor. It had wood flooring, and it was pretty bad. And then I had to try to get it up.
Do you want to know one of the main reasons I don't drink a lot?
What is that?
I have a phobia of throwing up.
Really?
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I was at a debate tournament, and I ate something real bad, and I had real bad food poisoning, and I threw up like probably 100 times that night, and I don't know how there was anything left in my body, but there was. I could not stop throwing up. It was literally every like 5-10 minutes. Yeah. So I was just hanging out by a trash can all night until they were like, well, we should probably take Brad to the hospital now that this debate tournament's over. And I just remember sitting in a charter bus throwing up into just a trash bag. No can, just the bag. They couldn't take the can. We didn't own the can. So just a gross, clear trash bag of vomit as I was vomiting on the way to the hospital, where I literally laid on the floor of the waiting room vomiting into the same said trash bag.
Like not even a black one, just a clear one, so you had to keep looking at it.
And then I woke up with an IV in me, and I was like, what happened? Yeah. So ever since then, I don't like throwing up.
Right.
And I think I've only thrown up once since then when I was sick. But I do my best not to eat anything gross, not to look at anything gross, not to smell anything gross, and not do too much drinking because I really don't want to throw up.
Throwing up is pretty bad. Food poisoning is like that. Like you will have no control. You'll have a sip of water and just throw up and throw up and throw up, and it's unbelievable. Last time I had food poisoning, I remember I was playing Mass Effect 2, and earlier that day, I had been at work out in the field at my old job, and I was so hungry. I was waiting for the bus, and there was a gas station right there, and I was like, fuck it. So I go to the gas station, and I grab like a chicken sandwich thingy from there. And I tell you, I don't remember if it was already cooked or if it was like cold and frozen and I had to cook it. I don't remember which it was. I think it was already cooked, or so they said. And that night, I'm sitting there and I'm playing Mass Effect 2, and I'm doing the planet drilling thing, where you're on the planets, and all of a sudden I start feeling like this weird pain in my stomach. That's like right under my rib cage, but it's directly in the stomach. It's not like the intestines where it's like diarrhea or something. And I felt it.
It was actually a reaction to Mass Effect 2.
It was a Mass Effect.
BioWare ruining that series.
Right. And no, it was maybe it was Mass Effect 3.
2 had the planet scanning, and it was terrible.
I thought 3 had the planet scanning.
No, 2 had planets scanning.
Okay, then it was
3. You do the pulses, the. Pew.
Okay, then it was.
Talking about
The
radar pings.
Yeah,
3, you were flying around in a ship in space.
Yeah,
a little tiny ship.
Well, you did
pinging.
that in 2 as well. But
Maybe it was
3. You did the pings, and then the Reapers would come.
In short, Mass Effect 1's the best Mass Effect.
Jeez, I don't
Sorry.
remember.
Continue,
Anyway, I got horribly sick all night. All night I was sick, throwing up and diarrhea and fluid coming from both ends continually, and it went on for like 2 or 3 days. And not with that much gusto, but 2 or 3 days. Of just not eating anything and expelling everything. And I remember the 4th day I got up and I started feeling, I felt better. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I thought, I look fantastic. Because I had lost like 15 pounds in water weight. And I was all ripped. I was like, man, I look great. And it was a time when I was working out a lot and I was in the band. So I was like getting a lot of exercise there anyway. So I was already kind of thin, like a lot thinner than I am now. But I was like, I lost even more weight. And I was like, wow, I was like Iggy Pop, man. I'm gonna stay like this. This is great.
And to this day, you're bulimic.
Right. That's right.
You still get those sandwiches every week.
Every week I go down there and I spend 3 days just expelling
It's a
everything,
ritual.
the toxins. That's right. So, but what I really want to hear, because this is cocktail time, is I want to hear the story about how Brad almost drank a bucket of urine.
I was actually pretty young, which
I guess I'll tell you,
may had something to do with why I almost drank
the same
a
thing.
bucket of urine.
The same thing almost happened to me. So I think we can connect.
I don't think
on
we can
this.
relate because I can only imagine why you almost drank a bucket of urine. I was being coaxed into it by my father. Well, let me explain. So one time,
say it
out.
slowly about how you were.
I was playing miniature pool with my brothers, my 2 older brothers.
Yeah.
We had a miniature pool table. It's like
Right.
pool but smaller.
Oh yeah.
For kids.
Right.
And I don't know what happened.
Uh-huh.
We were laughing, having a good time.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, because I was the younger, like my 2 older brothers, they're 1 year apart. I was 3 years younger.
Right.
I was trying to impress them.
Right.
We were laughing, and I was like, hey, you want me to pee in this bucket? I'll pee in this bucket.
Oh yeah.
And they're probably just ignoring me playing pool, and I'm like, no, I'll do it. This bucket, remember exactly what this bucket was. It was not just a normal bucket. It was a Halloween pail that you put candy in. The green one, the witch. You've probably seen that.
Was it glow in the dark or
Oh, the
anything, or
witch.
was it just a green witch?
Just a green bucket with the witch's face on it. There was like a jack-o'-lantern one, I think, and a ghost one. But this was very specifically a green bucket about yay big.
Right.
And I pissed in it. Because I was like, this is going to be funny. I'm going to pee in a bucket. Well, I did that. The night continued, and then I just realized I had a bucket of pee, so I just left it sitting on the pool table.
So you peed in the bucket in front of everybody?
Yeah.
A little voyeurism there for you.
Well, I think I turned away. I don't know.
Okay.
I probably turned away. So this witch-filled bucket of urine, Jesus Christ, left it sitting on the pool table. The next day, my dad was like, what the fuck is this? Who peed in this bucket? And I was like, it might have been me. I was probably like 8.
Right.
Maybe younger. Maybe 6. 8. Let's go with 8.
We'll go with 8.
And he was like, what, you think this is funny? You think it's funny to pee in the bucket? To pee in a bucket? And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. He's like, if you're going to pee in it, why don't you just drink it? Why don't you just drink the pee, huh? If you're going to pee in it. And at that point in my life, I did not know if my dad was serious about drinking the pee from the bucket or not. That was the closest I've ever gotten to drinking pee from a bucket until I realized my dad was just angry, and he did not actually want me to drink the pee.
He didn't want you to actually drink the pee.
But I was close. I was holding it.
Aloft.
Yes. I don't know if he had to stop me or if I just, came to my senses. But I did not drink the pee. But that was the closest I ever got to drinking pee.
You hadn't yet learned the word facetious.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that happened.
My pee drinking story isn't nearly as interesting. There's no daddies involved.
Okay.
It was when I was living with the dominatrix.
Oh.
Yeah. And I think she was doing a lot of whippets at the time. And I get up and I remember there being like, she was sitting in the living room and there was like, the place was always really messy for the most part, just kind of crap everywhere. And there was a glass, like a water glass, almost like my glass here, on the table. And I was like, oh, there's some water here. And I pick it up and I put it up to my nose and I'm like, this smells weird. And she goes, oh, don't drink that. I've been practicing peeing in a cup. That's my pee. It's like, oh,
see that?
I won't drink that.
What the fuck?
So, Joseph, I know you almost drank her pee. So what if you did drink her pee? Would that have been traumatizing, or would it have been I can get into this?
It wouldn't have been that bad. But whatever. It's sterile.
So apparently, if you're out in the wild,
let me tell you, if I had a choice between taking a sip of the dominatrix pee or having food poisoning and being on a bus and vomiting into a clear plastic bag, I'd take the sip. Totally, 100%.
If you had to drink pee, would you rather drink your own pee or the pee of dominatrix?
What does a dominatrix look like?
Like your roommate?
No, probably my own pee.
Okay, but it's actually scientifically proven that it is okay to drink your pee once when you're out in the wild and you need to stay hydrated.
Right.
If you drink it again, that's not good. Like, you can't drink it on the second pass through your body.
Right, because then there's like nothing left at all.
Something like that.
Right.
But drinking your pee once, A-okay.
Just once. You get one shot at drinking the pee.
Yes.
Oh, we got hammer drunk division, so shot!
Sip.
Sip, shot, same old. So I don't know if you know this, Brad, but Arch Craig and our Planetside 2 crew come in here and watch, and every once in a while call for shots. So
that's right.
They join the party.
Wait a minute. The drunk division dude was a subscriber of the night, or he's supposed to be choosing a game for our next subscriber night or something.
Really? Arch Craig? Does he know this?
I don't know. I think Nolan sent out that email. It's either for this month, which is going to be next week,
right,
or it was last month and he didn't send us anything.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well,
but I remember us reading his name and us going, hey, that's the drunk division dude.
Right.
And we were like, oh, that's cool.
Well, apparently Arch Craig needs to contact somebody.
Yes.
Thank you.
So, all right. So what have you guys been playing? I have not been playing much. I played some Destiny beta, and that's kind of it this week. I've been kind of busy. It's kind of all I did.
Well, you played a bunch of the alpha, right?
Yeah, I played a bunch of the alpha. Now I've been playing the beta.
All right. So on the podcast earlier on Tuesday, the guys had been playing the Destiny beta,
right,
and I was like, well, I didn't play that because I don't really want to, but I played the alpha, and here were my problems with it,
right,
and they were like, oh, no, this is the beta. It's way different, Brad. Yeah. Your opinions don't even matter because that was the alpha.
All right, it's not different at all.
I thought they were pretty same.
It's pretty the same. It's pretty much the same.
You
thing.
played both, Joseph,
Yeah.
so you tell me. Were they full of shit?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, there's minimal differences, like in terms of graphics and things like that. There's the biggest difference is that in the beta they tend to lead your character into the story a little bit more. So for the alpha, for instance, you go in and you have everything. You have all your guns, you have your ship, you can go into orbit, and you have your vehicle and all that. In this game, they sort of petered out a little bit through 4 or 5 missions, so eventually, it makes a little more sense as you kind of run through things. So they're making a little bit more of an effort to kind of feed you a little bit more of the story, whereas Alpha was like, here you go, run around, do your shit. So that's the biggest change. The only other changes I've seen are basically aesthetic. Like, oh, that light wasn't flickering last time, or the ghost voice has some modulation on it this time, or little things like that. For the most part, at least from what I can see on the front end, I'm sure the back end's totally got different stuff going on. But for the most part, it's kind of the same. Like I started playing. I played the alpha and I was excited for the beta. I got into the beta and I got kind of bored. About an hour later, because I was like, wow, this is all stuff. This is basically stuff I've done already. So,
well, a lot of people are comparing Destiny to an MMO, but one of the big hooks of an MMO is the social aspect of it. But I don't know if this game is going to have, the kinds of
I'll tell you what,
clans and spaces and just the sense of community and
well, here's the thing: like there's
society that you get in a good MMO.
Yeah, well, there's definitely clans and stuff. You can actually set those up through the Destiny website, so they have that in there. It's not really it's not visualized very well in the game, and that's kind of a big problem. In fact, I got into the beta early, like a week early before everybody else, because I'm friends with somebody at Bungie, and I'm on this thread on Facebook that's basically her, and she's one of the test leads. And a bunch of other people who are other game people in Seattle and around and whatnot. And it's sort of a long list of, here's bugs we found, here's suggestions, all this kind of stuff. And one of the main things is like, a big issue is like you're supposed to go to the tower, where it's supposed to be this social hub where you can gain friends and form parties and all this kind of stuff. But there's no tools to actually speak to anybody. There's no chat. There's nothing there's no icon I can put over my character to show that I'm looking for a party. There's nothing like that. So everyone goes to the tower, ends up just dancing with each other, because that's literally the only form of communication there is in the game right now. And
also, what's the fucking point, right? I mean, it's like in a complex MMO, there's like a party, dynamic, these different classes. Like you go into we're going to do this raid. We really need a fucking healer. Yeah. We're looking for a healer. That doesn't happen in this game, does it?
No, it doesn't. That's one of the things I'm kind of like. So there's 3 different classes, and each of them have a feel to them that different players will gravitate towards. I kind of like the hunter. I was played a wizard for a long time, and now I've been doing another hunter character. I'm kind of gravitating. I'm sorry, warlock. Yeah, and now I'm sort of
level 10 wizard.
Yeah, now I'm gravitating more toward the hunter, but my hunter doesn't really do anything that other classes couldn't do. It's not like I need to be a tank because I need to keep the aggro on this beast while my DPS do their job. It's not really like that. So the party dynamic doesn't really have a role. There's no roles and slots that need to be filled, which has its positives and its negatives, because parties won't really be held up because they lack a healer. But on the other hand, there's always this when you're playing an MMO, there's this good feeling about doing your job and doing your job correctly. Like when we play Realm Reborn, like I'm a DPS and Bob's the healer, and their communication that's going on between us over the mics, like that's fun and that's cool. And even if we're doing low level stuff, it's like us all doing that role correctly and being like this well-oiled machine. There's something very satisfying about that.
Absolutely.
And Destiny doesn't really have that. You're kind of just killing stuff for loot, and there's not the meta game doesn't go far beyond that. I mean, the only other level to that is the fact that when I play the game, the standard game, and I find this cool loot, I can bring that into multiplayer. So it's like, oh, I got this new gun. I want to see how it works in multiplayer, and that's another level of that. I know you guys talked a little bit about that on the podcast, about how you weren't too sure about how that would work out. Like, I don't know if you felt like it was going to be imbalanced or not.
Have you been playing a lot of multiplayer?
I played some of it, yeah. Yeah, I did.
So some of it?
Yeah.
Do you think this is going to be a big draw for you when the game
Not the multiplayer, no. It'll be the single player and the overworld stuff that I'm like. But see, you got to understand, I was never a fan of Halo multiplayer. Like, I prefer battle. I'm more of a Battlefield guy. Like, Halo multiplayer always felt dry to me.
Oh well, but I'm saying do you think that this is a game that people who are really into competitive multiplayer, like a Call of Duty or like a Halo, do you think they'll gravitate to the multiplayer in this?
I think they will, actually. I think once the full game comes in, I think they will, because it has that dual level. It's not just like, it's not that I go onto this map and I just have to make it to the good gun. And if I make it to the good gun, I'll do good for a while. It's like, no, I need to go to the single player and search for these weapons and search for this gear. And then I get to use it in multiplayer. And I think that's going to be a feedback people like. Finding this stuff and then using it in multiplayer and, seeing how it works and testing out new builds. And the cool thing is, like, it's not just guns, it's armor, and armor does different things. And I'm finding new weapons now that have different abilities, that things I've never seen before that are kind of cool. Like, I picked up this gun, and as you're leveling up the guns, one of the abilities of the gun is that you don't have to pull the trigger on your controller all the way down to fire it. It's more of a hair trigger. Yeah, it's more of a hair trigger. So you can actually fire the gun faster and, like, lose those milliseconds on firing the gun, which is kind of an interesting way to do something like that. I've never seen a weapon that, did anything like that in terms of one of its upgrades. So, that makes me excited that they're kind of going to be thinking a little bit outside the box on that stuff. So,
God, I have this. Let's get dramatic here for a second.
Sure, let's do it.
I have this feeling that this multiplayer is not going to catch on like the top multiplayer games. I don't think people are going to be playing Crucible mode Halo multiplayer. I think some people are going to play it, and some people are going to stay away from it. I have this feeling that Destiny's going to be huge when it hits, but it's not going to be able to maintain much interest outside of the people who would maybe typically get addicted to the hooks of an MMO's metagame. Like just leveling up the skills, loot, and stuff like that. But it's not going to have. But a good MMO aren't just those hooks. It's the social aspect that pressures people into. Keep leveling up, because I gotta stay where my friends are, or I gotta, get ahead of them, or...
Well, you gotta remember, two things on that. First of all, like, they do not want to be an MMO. And everything I'm hearing is that they want it to be more of a journey type of experience. Like, meeting people and grouping up kind of more just happens naturally, Second of all, they're saying that you can reach maximum level, like level 20, in a few hours.
That's what?
Yeah.
Listen, this is a fucking mistake, dude. Like people love Halo and Call of Duty, for the multiplayer. People love it for the lore and the story going from game to game. And I feel like this game is not going to do either of those, like, to the degree of success that those other games do. It's just going to have these MMO hooks, and I don't think that's going to grab people for long.
What do you think? Like, what do you think the multiplayer might be missing? Because to me, it just looks like a more refined Halo multiplayer.
But it's not Halo. It's not Halo at all. One of the things we talked about on the podcast was how much Halo revolves around, knowing the map, knowing where the weapons are, it's a weapon on the map type multiplayer, which is very different from like Call of Duty or Battlefield, where you kind of bring in your own weapons. The difference between, which is fine, but that means it's not Halo. It's not, we got to get to the rocket launcher. We control the rocket launcher. We win this match. It's not like that. It's more like Call of Duty or Battlefield, right? You bring in your weapons. Except in Call of Duty or Battlefield, there's only so many weapons. Everyone knows what they are. Everyone understands them. They find what they're comfortable with, and they stick to them. And they're very balanced around that. And I know there's, they kind of like normalize, the weapons when you go into multiplayer to some degree in Destiny, but there's like so many more weapons, right? There's so many more skills than you would ever use in like like a Call of Duty or a Battlefield, right?
But I think that's what's going to draw people in, though.
But I feel like what that's going to lead to is people who are serious about multiplayer, who only use certain loadouts with certain skills, certain classes, certain weapon types, because they realize that that's the best. like in MMO's multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens. People make characters for PvE, and people make characters for PvP.
Yeah.
And the PvE people, they get intimidated because they don't want to hop into multiplayer because they know a lot of the other people playing multiplayer have made their guys specifically for being successful in PvP.
Yeah.
This is why I never really messed with multiplayer in an MMO style setting where you kind of bring in out there. That's why I think there's going to be this divide, like there is in an MMO.
Yeah,
there's the people who play multiplayer, and there's the people who do PvP, and there's the people who do PvE. And I think that could really hurt a game like this because Bungie thinks that all this stuff is going to synergize very well. Like they're going to hop back and forth, because they want their character to be good in both, and they can level up in both. But I think there's going to be a divide, and I think that divide's really going to hurt the player base and the longevity, and just people's interest in a game like this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I see what you mean because basically with the multiplayer, they center it out so that you're only in there with people of your level. But even if you're level 8 and everyone's a level 8, you're gonna have some level 8s that have grinded or just got lucky and found cool shit that are just naturally going to be better off for the most part.
Yeah. Or, they're just going to find that, use this sniper rifle and this shotgun with this class and this skill setup, and you're going to do very well. Yeah. And I'm going to play a bunch of PvE just to make that character so I can wreck people in PvP. I mean, that's how MMO multiplayer works.
Yeah, for the most part.
And even with that normalization, because there's so many options in terms of equipment and weapons and stuff, you are going to be able to make a PvP build, quote unquote. And I think that's going to turn a lot of people off.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe. We'll see. I played some of the multiplayer. I didn't get too into it before, and I played a few rounds earlier this week, or maybe last week, and maybe Sunday. And I was just kind of starting to get into it a little bit. Maybe that should be getting better at it. I don't know. But, like I said, I always kind of preferred Battlefield multiplayer anyway.
Yeah, well, in Battlefield multiplayer, everyone's kind of using more or less the same types of weapons, Yeah. And if there's a weapon that you don't have that the enemy's using, and you're like, damn, I want that weapon, you know exactly how to get that weapon, and that path is like charted for you. You don't have to,
kill a boss 80 times hoping he drops it.
Yeah, you don't have to go on a message board, find out what that loadout is, go into the PvE, farm a boss over and over again until you get said weapon, just so you can, be that much better in PvP.
Right.
But there are going to be the people who do that, and that's going to be, that's going to create this intimidation factor.
Yeah, and it's going to be up to Bungie to do what they can to level that out, if they can. And
there's a problem that if it gets to the point where like the only way they combat that is to make everything like the same, nothing's better than anything else, everything's the exact same. This weapon, if they balance it too much, then it can get kind of boring.
Well, then there's no incentive to actually get anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why grind for that great weapon in the single player if it doesn't even fucking matter?
Right. We'll see.
They got to be careful.
Yeah, and one of the things about this game that I'm a little wary about it, but we haven't really seen much of it yet. Like everything we've seen, even in terms of, and I said this last week on Cocktail Time, is everything we've seen, even in trailers.
Show. Well, let's wait.
I'm recording it too.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, we should be back.
You learned from last week.
I think Destiny is going to be kind of what we played, but just more of it in different environments.
Yeah.
We'll level up past 8. We'll get new skills, but it's going to be like that's the game. There's going to be story missions, which clearly they're not approaching story like it's an MMO style story. It's not a it's not this big cinematic thing that I think a lot of people who play a lot of first-person shooters expect from a campaign. And
so So here's
and I think there's going to be strike missions, and I think there's going to be this explore crap, which seems kind of lame.
Here's my question
in terms of missions, but yeah.
Some people are like, talking about MMOs, and they're like, well, it's it doesn't seem very big, and I kind of feel that way too. And they think about they bring up World of Warcraft. I don't remember because I didn't get in on the ground floor, but World of Warcraft, of course, is huge now after all these expansions and all that kind of stuff. When it was released, how big was it? I mean, I'm sure it was a much smaller game, but what was the girth of World of Warcraft?
I would say the game hasn't gotten any bigger. Your paths to leveling up have increased, but when you get to the end, it's always pretty restricted. Mm-hmm. It's very focused. And when you were in World of Warcraft originally, it was pretty big for its time. I don't think it was necessarily any larger than, say, like, and not at all larger than an EverQuest by any means, but, like a DAOC or an Asheron's Call, anything like that. Mm-hmm. The focus on the end game has always been, like, stepping stones. So you do, these dungeons or these missions until you're high enough or you get enough gear out of that, and then until you can graduate to the next set of ones. And it's kind of a tiered system.
Right.
But it's not like a, there's too much shit to do.
I don't think size matters, though. I really, really don't. It's World of Warcraft is a big connected world where, zones are very distinct. The stuff you experience and the things you fight in each zone are very distinct. And I honestly, I think there's a reason that fantasy MMOs are always successful or are always more successful than, like, science fiction or even, like, modern times MMOs or whatnot. And that's because the fantasy setting allows them to go, like, crazy from one area to the next, like extremes. You're in the middle of a volcano here, and now you're on snow-capped mountains because it's fantasy, and that's cool, right?
Well, you could do that in sci-fi, but no one really does.
Well, but the stuff, sure. But the stuff we've experienced in Destiny, like, if this exciting strike mission is just taking me down these same dark hallways that I was, exploring in the explore section, there's just, like a good MMO has a good sense of place, and I think the environment itself should be exciting to look at and explore, and I think Destiny has a lot to prove in terms of presenting us an environment that's really exciting to explore, because, like, these structures don't seem that exciting.
Well, there's going to be different, each zone is like a different planet, basically. So in the beta, the first 5 missions are on the Cosmodrome, I think, which is in, Russia, or old Russia.
Yeah, the Russian
and
Cosmodrome.
The next one that pops up but you can't get to it takes place on the moon. And I think, there's going to be Venus, there's going to be Jupiter, so I think
lower gravity, you're kind of booping around?
No, there's no lower gravity.
Oh, come on.
All I know is in Destiny, I fought a wizard from the moon, and that should have been spectacular. Right. But you know what? It was just a dude who, with way too many hit points, floating around in a dark warehouse, and it was boring.
Yeah.
And it was a wizard from the moon. And you know what? If that fucking dark warehouse is on the moon and I'm shooting the same fucking wizards because, hey, that's where they're from, that's not exciting to me.
Right.
No, it's not.
It's just, World of Warcraft is magical, Literally. This shit doesn't seem that magical. And just the way the story is presented it also is just kind of lame. I mean, especially compared to, like, if you are one of those people who gets really psyched about Halo because of the lore, because of the world, because of the Master Chief, because of, the cinematics and the fucking moments where the music kicks in when you're doing something really cool, I think those people are going to be super disappointed by Destiny.
I personally, I never got the bug on that. Like, I don't get it. Like, I never thought Halo had a good story or Halo was any of that.
But a lot of people did. And when Halo was, a big thing back then, like on the original Xbox especially, like the fans of Halo were fans of the story, the lore, the Master Chief. They read books and shit, and they had a single player campaign to rally behind.
Yeah.
And this game I don't think is going to have it. Yeah. And you look at stats of like, your publisher releases stats of, hey, not only 50% of the people who play Halo ever even try multiplayer or whatever. Those are the kind of stats they released back in this day. That's proof that, hey, a lot of people who play this thing, they only care about the campaign. Same thing with Call of Duty. There's a lot of people who only play the campaign, and then they move on to the next Call of Duty.
Nick is one of those. Nick only plays the campaign.
Yeah, Nick is one of them. There's a lot of those people, but there's going to be nothing for those people. Just like there was nothing for those people who picked up Titanfall and were like, wait, there really isn't a campaign here. Right. And you know what? People were kind of talking about Titanfall like it didn't quite catch on like EA was expecting.
It didn't. Like Titanfall was really a flash in the pan. Like it was like people were talking about Titanfall like it was the next coming of gaming Jesus. It came, and then a few weeks later, no one really cared anymore. It was kind of done at that point.
You know what? That had a well-developed multiplayer.
Yeah.
Didn't have a well-developed campaign, but it had a well-developed multiplayer.
Yeah.
Destiny might not have a very well-developed campaign in terms of story and presentation, and it might have a multiplayer that doesn't really, have a long, it just doesn't have the staying power. In which case, what does Destiny have left for the mainstream?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I said like the beta, the story in the beta and in the alpha just kind of, they kind of just throw you out there, and there's not much exposition. I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing or why I'm doing it. It's certainly I mean, I feel like there was more story involved in some of the later Halo games I played, but personally, and the only reason I've been playing it, and I kept on playing it, is primarily for the gameplay, that the shooting feels really good. It's just fun to fly around and jump off your bike and shoot dudes. And that's really fun. That whole feedback is good. And I still sometimes get kind of cool loot and cool looking stuff, and there's that draw for me. And that,
well, it's Borderlands.
I don't know about that. Like you said, I mean, the armor adds a whole other component to it, and that's something you've wanted in Borderlands for a long time.
Oh, well, absolutely. I think you are going to be able to make more quote unquote builds again, because you have more armor slots. But I'm just saying the combat narrative is kind of boring to me compared to something like Halo, which was more puzzle-like and intense, and you kind of understood everything that was out there. You understood what this weapon did. You understood what that enemy did, what that weapon that the enemy was using, and what to do in that situation, no matter what situation. That was Halo. Mm-hmm. You knew that with this weapon, 2 shots will take down his shields, 1 shot with this, and he's dead. Right. With this weapon, 3 shots in the head, he's dead. Mm-hmm. In Destiny, they're just meat sacks of hit points, and you don't have that flow that you did in Halo. The flow that made Bungie famous.
But I think the flow in Destiny comes from the primary weapons, the melee attacks, and then the specials. I think that's kind of where it kind of all comes together.
I don't know. I just don't enjoy it as much. I feel like I'm shooting meat bags with way too much hit points, and I've unloaded 20 clips into this enemy, and I'm desperately waiting for my special to recharge so I can do, a slightly bigger chunk of damage.
I doubt you unloaded 20 clips into the enemy,
dude.
Unless you're talking about that big spider beast, and that's supposed to be a bit of a meat.
There are when you're in explore mode, you can stumble into packs of enemies that are out of your level range. Yeah. And if you can survive that encounter and actually kill them, it's just boring. And it's long to the point where they might even spawn in again because it's taking so fucking long.
But I don't think you're supposed to be able to kill those people in the alpha.
Okay, but maybe you're right. But I can play Halo on Legendary and come up with 2 hunters and a couple of elites, and it might be really fucking challenging. Mm-hmm. But I know I have the tools to handle that situation because I understand all the pieces of that puzzle.
Right.
And that's what makes the combat narrative in Halo interesting.
Yeah, I could see that. And honestly, I haven't played enough I haven't gotten as into Halo as you have to really make those sort of,
I don't know.
But we'll see.
That's Destiny.
We'll see. What did you think, Bob? You played 30 minutes of today on the PS3.
Yeah.
Really?
How'd that go for you? Bob is sort of a little behind technology.
What are you talking about?
You still have a flip phone. Let me see your phone. Pull out your phone. I want everyone to look at Bob's phone.
It's not a flip phone. It doesn't even have... It's not here. I don't have it. It's in the other room.
Oh.
It's not a smartphone. It's a rather dumb phone.
It's not. It doesn't even. I don't think it even flips.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't have any of the flippiness to it. Tara's gonna go get it. Everyone needs to see this. This is the head of Next Gen Pants, the video game studio.
Head of the technology division.
Head of the technology division, Next Gen Pants, and this is the phone he's got.
Oh, this is my.
Look at this thing. Look at that.
Wait, that's your cell phone?
Yeah.
That's the one you use?
Yeah,
You should show Carlos. Carlos has a similar cell phone.
It's a colored screen. It's one of those prepaid phones. I just threw my SIM in it because my last phone died. It's a step up. It doesn't have a camera, but at least it's not monochrome.
You can't get texts, right? No, you can. Can you?
Yes, you can.
You can. Okay.
So this is why you're making a game that's reminiscent of Tetris and Metroid, because those were the last two games you played.
Those are the last two games I played. Those are the last two games my computer could actually support.
Right.
Well, I mean, the PS3 is. I picked it up because it was free, and they had the open beta, and I was like, fuck it, I've seen people play on the feed, and it actually doesn't look that bad on the PS3. And Hammered is rating us again.
All right. Shot.
This is bizarre. Does this happen a lot?
It does happen quite a bit.
Yeah. The more I get through this Four Loko, the harder it is to drink.
I need to refill my drink real quick. You keep on going. I'm going to refill this. Be right back.
So the performance on the PS3 is great. There's no problem on it whatsoever. I don't really feel like there's obviously I haven't played the PS4 version, but I don't think anyone playing the PS3 version is going to be disappointed. I really don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. If they have seen the next gen version and then I guess the current gen version, we should really stop calling it next gen. They may be a little like, it doesn't look as good on my last gen console, but the game still feels really good. I mean, the controls are really good. It has really nice feedback, but I mean, it's got the same problem I had with a lot of kind of first-person shooter RPGs, like Borderlands. You were saying, like, you feel like you're shooting just walking meat walls. Like, the class I chose a Titan because I was like, oh shit, they have this option of like being all big and beefy and smashing the ground and like doing AoE damage and then putting up these shields and supporting players. And I didn't really feel like I was playing that class. Mm-hmm. Like, there was kind of a disconnect in the way they described it and what I was actually doing. And that's, maybe it's just because I'm such a low level and I haven't gotten very high yet. I'm like rank 3, I guess.
Well, when in those descriptions where it shows, like, you have a bubble shield and whatnot, like that comes at a later level you can't even get to yet.
Yeah, but the thing should be like, for me, at least in trying to pull, from a design perspective, and trying to pull people into, especially an MMO, if you're trying to make it group-oriented. Right. Because there's missions. You can invite friends into these missions. You can make the missions more difficult. It seems like you would have that kind of group hierarchy in that structure. You would want to give people the tools that make their classes unique as early on as possible.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that.
And that is, a really kind of important design decision to make, and to kind of pull people in and make them feel like they're unique, as opposed to everybody starting off feels like exactly the same. It doesn't matter what your class is. Yeah. I don't think there's any difference in the first, maybe 2-3 hours of gameplay. Like, all characters are the same. Yeah.
And I have played MMOs where everyone pretty much does start out the same, but as they gain levels and start putting those points into skills and branching out, they do diverge quite a bit. Well, I'm hoping that happens.
Well, it depends on the style of MMO. I mean, there's certain MMOs that allow you to customize your character to degree where you can really become unique based on what you focus on, and that makes sense to allow you to build in that direction. But if you're focusing on, there's only 3 classes, there's not much variety between, there's not much options within each class. Making the distinctions between them should be greater, as opposed to, it's slightly different.
Right. No, I agree with that.
Yeah, I really haven't played too much yet, but it's fun, to shoot things, but I don't think that's not going to keep me around.
Maybe they should have made a class that's not just about shooting. I know that might sound crazy, but
crazy talk, Brad. What are you doing? No shooting.
At least Borderlands had like a class that meleeed most of the time, right? Like,
yeah, I mean,
you could just dropped his gun and punched the shit out of shit.
Now, Borderlands did a really good job of having those classes feel very divergent and very fun. In fact, just thinking about it makes me want to go back to Borderlands 2 and actually try some of those other classes out. Because I think I just tried the soldier guy with the turret, and like that's kind of it. But there's some good. They did a really good job of doing that.
They could have done more to differentiate.
Yeah.
But I think Destiny's doing even less. I want to be excited about this game.
Yeah,
I do. And the hook. Come on. I'm weak to the hooks of a good MMO or a good loot system, a good leveling system. I'm weak to those, and I was feeling it a little bit during the alpha. But I just think that's the only hook for me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. We'll see. All right, moving on. We talked about Destiny all last week. You guys been playing anything else? Brad? I haven't talked in so long. I know you've been playing Divinity quite a bit.
Yeah. Listen, all I'll say about Divinity is more people should be playing this game.
Well,
it's like one of the best Western RPGs ever.
It is making lots of waves.
Well, it's good. It has some pretty good word of mouth. Mm-hmm. But the people who are trying the game are the people that I know who are willing to try new things. Mm-hmm. And the people who kind of stick to their shit, they're not really trying this thing. I think more people who like a game like Dragon Age or
Skyrim,
like Fallout, and I'm even talking about like newer Fallouts. Like people like who play Skyrim and Fallout 3, they need to branch out and try this game because it's really fucking good. You know what? The people who played XCOM, Enemy Unknown or Enemy Within, and really love that game, but maybe beyond that they just kind of stick to what they're comfortable with, I think they should try this game. I seriously think Divinity has the best combat system of any like RPG I've ever played.
Wow.
Whoa, somebody went far away.
Wow.
That's right, Joseph.
No, I hear you. I pulled away from the mic. Yeah, no, I was listening to you. I was listening to the podcast, not this past one, maybe the one before that. And you were basically talking about how spells work together in really cool ways. Like somebody can summon a thunderstorm, and that like somebody can have lightning, or there's rain, and it will impact the lightning if someone does a lightning spell. That kind of stuff. Like all these like cool little interactions.
Everything interacts together in really like interesting but very logical ways, and it just keeps going. If I melt this ice with my fire spell because hey, that makes sense, it doesn't just end there. It creates like this steam cloud because hey, that makes sense. But I hit that steam cloud with my lightning after that, and it creates lightning cloud that's stunning enemies that are in its range. It's just, it keeps going. I have a spell that's like, it's a tornado, but the tornado doesn't damage enemies. It just cleans the shit out of the battlefield. It just sucks everything off the ground, all the fucking water and oil and poison that's littering. These after a battle in Divinity, there's just the elements are just just wrecked the shit out of everything. But that makes every single battle like unpredictable. Logical, but like, unpredictable because you don't know what the enemy's going to cast. You don't know, it can react to this barrel that's sitting over here that's going to explode into oil. That's going to, catch this fire over here. And all of a sudden this battle has become this completely different thing. And you have access to so many options at any given time. And the battlefield, along with the battles constantly changing, it's like jazz, man. It's like it's like combat jazz.
Right.
It's fucking great, dude. I started playing Shadowrun Returns the other day.
I heard
which is a cool fucking game.
I heard the
it's
base
a cool
game.
Like it's well written, and I'm like kind of into the story.
Right.
But like when I'm in battle in this game, you know, it's very much aping XCOM. I'm just kind of bored and dreaming about Divinity.
I hear that.
It's like I can't even make it rain. What is this bullshit?
I hear the base game of Shadowrun Returns is not all that great, but the expansion really opens up the world. That's better.
Yeah. It allows a little bit more freedom, and the story's supposed to be better. But you know, the base mechanics are more or less unchanged, and it's just. It's hard. It's hard to go back to other games after experiencing just the level of interactivity that you have in Divinity. It's crazy. You know, a lot of people are saying this is kind of like an old throwback to old school Infinity Engine games, but the smarter people are saying that. Well,
would that be you, Brad? Would that be you?
No. I'm talking about based on what I've heard other people say is that this isn't just like Baldur's Gate. This is a lot like Ultima. That's the like Ultima 7 and that level of interactivity that you have, you know, with the things in the world and the people in the world, and just the freedom you have to kind of do what you want to do with what you know discover is very Ultima. And that's fucking true. This game is like Ultima 7 meets Baldur's Gate with like the best combat system.
I might have played Ultima 7.
Those are my favorite games of all time, and I know I do not have time to dedicate to playing this fucking game.
Dude, it's so fucking great. It's so great. I mean, I've only played 70 hours, and I probably have another 30, 40. But I'm going to say it's probably my game of the year so far.
Yeah.
And I haven't had a game that got its hooks into me like this in a very long time. It reminded me of like those first 15 hours of Dragon's Dogma. When you're just wide. I know you understand this, Joseph. You really got into that game.
Oh yeah, totally.
You're just wide-eyed, and you like I want to know I want every single one of these skills because they all sound amazing.
Yeah.
I want to play every single class. I want to explore every single corner here because this is so fucking awesome.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about yeah. I mean, everything felt so natural, and just everything just kind of flowed. You know, the way it felt like it should be. You know, there was no didn't feel like there was any barriers to do anything. You can just kind of go out into the world and experience and explore and open up these characters and whatnot. Man, I want a new Dragon's Dogma so bad.
Oh my god, I know, right?
Like, why haven't they said anything about this? Like, man. Do you think there's that's it? It's going to be one off and that's it?
Well, so here's
we have
the
3 fucking Dark
situation.
Souls games now.
I know, but here's the reality.
4 with the
First of all,
coming.
Dark Souls is from Software. They don't have a lot of big hits, but hey, that one caught on, so that makes sense. Especially, you know, Dark Souls did pretty well when they finally hit the PC.
Yeah.
But Dragon's Dogma is Capcom, and the reality about and Dragon's Dogma was successful, but it was successful only because it sold really well in Japan. Mm-hmm. But the problem with Japan right now is they are not at all latching onto the PS4.
Right.
And you realize what that means, right? That means that there's pretty much going to be, outside of some first party, like no one's buying consoles in Japan.
Yeah, they're all playing handhelds.
No one's going to buy Xbox. There's no third party on fucking Nintendo pretty much at all. It's just first party Nintendo shit. And even that thing's not selling well. Mm-hmm. And the PS4 is underperforming.
Yeah.
So if you make a Dragon's Dogma, where are you going to put it?
On a handheld.
The Vita bombed even in Japan.
Yeah. What are they playing? They're playing something.
They're playing mobile games.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing 3DS games.
Right.
You know, but what are they playing on their 3DS? They're playing Monster Hunter. You know, they're playing Pokemon. They're playing the mainstays that are successful over there. You know, a Dragon Quest game's probably going to come out. They'll play that. Mm-hmm. But they're not playing the systems that a Dragon's Dogma game makes sense on.
Right.
And because Dragon's Dogma wasn't very big in the West, why would Capcom
put money
even mess with that? There's more and more Japanese publishers are messing around with free to play because mobile is just dominating over there.
Yeah.
That's why Deep Down, which a lot of us thought was kind of the spiritual successor to Dragon's Dogma, is a fucking free to play game.
Is it
which,
really?
You know,
it is?
yeah. Deep Down is a free to play game. And it might sound crazy because if you ask a lot of people who actually played it at TGS last year, which it was playable on the show floor, a lot of people will say, well, this is the most next-gen looking game that we've seen yet, period. Yet it's a free-to-play experiment from Capcom. But the reality is that's what Japanese publishers are doing now. You look at Namco, all their major franchises have gone free-to-play. Tekken's gone free-to-play. Soul Calibur's gone free-to-play. Ace Combat's fucking gone free-to-play. Yeah. All their they've been doing this for a while now, and it's been working.
So it's basically microtransactions.
Yeah. So does Dragon's Dogma fit into a free-to-play model? And if it does, is it something we want?
You have to buy a new class. If you want to play anything more than the 3 original classes, you have to pay money, $15 per class. If you want to have the expansion, the gold expansion, the platinum chest is another $20, and that's it's going to net you about 100,000 gold and several rare items. It's a random chance.
Or you can grind for it.
True, Bob. To be honest, like Japanese free to play is often a lot scarier than even the free to play that we put up with here in the West. It's like the worst of fucking like mobile phone free to play, but it's like it's permeating into all aspects of gaming over there. It's scary.
Well, that kind of disappoints me for Deep Down. I was
Well, even look at the was it the All the Bravest, the Final Fantasy, the Square Enix.
Oh God!
Was there microtransactions? Like if you try to buy a character, but it was random which character you got.
Yeah, no, that's the fucking capsule. You know, like that's been Japan for forever.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're gonna get, so you got to keep buying. Oh, you got one you already had. Tough titties. That's just the reality over there.
That's how they do it.
You know what the biggest fucking like hype ass game in Japan right now is? Yoikai Watch. Look into that. It'll fucking frighten you. It's like Pokemon, but like it's like you know what? I don't have time to go into it, but let's just say level 5 is taking over Japan with this thing, Yoikai Watch. It's like the new Pokemon, but there's like
it's yokai. It's
yokai.
It's Demon Watch.
Yeah, but it's all about collecting these fucking medals, like in actual, like real. I don't know. It's like fucking Skylanders meets Pokemon or whatever, and that's all kids care about over there. It's freaky.
Well, even here in Seattle, we have a GameWorks right down here. It's they're basically owned by Sega, so tons and tons of Sega games. But they have some games that are imported from Japan, and they're like army games, but you have to use cards. And they have like machines where you buy the cards right there, and they're blind packs, so you don't know what you're getting in the pack. And people just sit there and just keep on feeding money into this machine to get these card packs, and then using those cards to play the arcade game. And the cards have like moves or units or that kind of thing. And it's that blind pack thing where I'll give you $2 and you'll give me a pack, and I might have 5 cards and I have 3, but there's my 2. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean it has similar aspects to like those kinds of arcade games as well that came from Japan.
Yeah. In
this thing, it's just I don't know. It's scary what is actually successful over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh well. I'll still play Deep Down, but I'm not giving him any goddamn money. I say that now.
Yeah.
But then there's like a fucking helmet I really want, and I'm like, all right.
Say what you will about the fact that Deep Down is free to play. Like, I still think that game looks really fucking rad, and not nearly enough people are talking about it.
Well, I mean, it looks like a cross between Dark Souls and Assassin's Creed, right?
Well, it has this Assassin's Creed element to it in that it looks like fantasy, but it's actually kind of sci-fi-y.
Right.
Like with a sci-fi twist or whatever.
It's got the thing where you the computer thing stuff. Yeah.
But you know, like a lot of the gameplay of that game has not been in these like officially released, you know, trailer. Like all the trailers, all the stuff officially released by Capcom are these really quick, chopped up, short little trailer things that you can't even really figure out what's going on. So, and a lot of people who've even tried to look into this game, they just seen that stuff. But if you look around in the right places, there are like these lengthy gameplay demonstrations that have been at these shows, and some of the stuff they've shown looks fucking incredible.
Yeah, see, I haven't seen any
it
of
looks
that.
like Dark Souls meets Dragon's Dogma, but with proper cooperative play. I saw this fight where it was a bunch of dudes taking down like fighting this giant dragon, and it kind of looked incredible. That one of the dudes cast like this spell that froze time, and the dragon's just frozen in space, right? Which is cool. And he's walking around, but he's casting fireballs into the air, and the fireballs once he casts them into the air are just frozen there. And there's these beautiful looking like flaming balls of fire, and he's just walking around them because time is not moving. Right. He's just walking around them, and he casts another, and then he walks around that, and he casts another, and he has all these floating fireballs in air as time is frozen, and he unfreezes time, and they all just fly at the dragon at once, and it just looks so fucking badass.
That is pretty cool.
No one's talking about this.
No one's seen that. I haven't seen that.
I saw it.
That's what I'm saying.
God
because
damn
this
it,
is not
one.
officially released. You know,
It was where was this? It was. I saw. Where the fuck did I see this? I saw this months ago.
well, I posted some of this footage that Capcom isn't officially releasing on this on the site a couple months ago. And I did that in an effort to get people to actually. Oh, it was my anticipation. I did a post where these are the games I'm most excited to see at E3. I assumed deep down would be at E3. It wasn't. That pissed me off. But I was like, just check out this fucking footage. This is why I'm excited about this game, and other people aren't because I don't think they've seen this footage. Yeah. There is. So Resident Evil 4. One of the reasons that game was so incredibly revolutionary or just fucking amazing is because you could carefully aim your shots and you shoot them in the fucking elbow and they drop their weapon. You shoot them in the knee and they crumple to the ground. This location based damage, right? Mm-hmm. This was amazing. The level of detail of the location based damage is something you've never seen before. This dude's about to throw dynamite. I shot him in the hand. He dropped the dynamite. It blew him up. Holy shit! Resident Evil 4. Boom. Greatest game ever. Right. Well, Deep Down is doing this stuff, but with fucking melee. There is, and I always talk about this when I talk about this game, but it looks so cool. Where he's fighting, he's like a one-on-one fight. It's like Dark Souls. He's in a dark fucking dungeon, and there's like a fucking troll coming up or a orc or something or goblin or something about to hit him, and he's there and he pulls out his fucking cursor like he's aiming a Resident Evil 4, but it's like a fucking spear, and he's aiming spear thrusts doing location based damage like you would do in something like Resident Evil 4, but it's melee, and I just haven't seen that before. Yeah, with that level of detail that you see in a game like a modern Resident Evil, but with melee, and it looks fucking cool.
I'm going to have to find this footage. I'm going to watch it. I'll watch it later tonight. All right, let's do this. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll talk more about games, maybe some news and stuff. Maybe more about drinking out of pee buckets. But we'll see. You're watching Cocktail Time live here at 4playernetwork.com. We'll be right back. Everybody, we are back. You're watching Cocktail Time live here at 4playernetwork.com. I'd like to thank everybody who came out to watch us tonight. Especially thanks to our subscribers. People like Biopower, people like Rough Plague, people like Invader Snarf, people like Liz6005. We do appreciate you subscribing to us here at 4playernetwork.com. Your subscriptions keep the lights on and the doors open for us. If you do like what we do here at 4Player, if you like our broadcast, you like our podcast, you like our website, our coverage of various conventions, we do ask that you think about subscribing. It is $4.99 a month. Huh? What?
Nothing.
Oh.
What happened?
It's $4.99 a month. You can do so through Twitch TV. And for that, you get no ads on our website, no ads on our broadcast. You get exclusive content like our dinner time and top fives. You get early access to our video reviews. And you get a chance to become a subscriber of the week, where you get to decide what games we play that week. Lots of fun stuff. And if you can't subscribe to us, we ask you, just subscribe to us on YouTube. It's free and helps us out. But thanks to everyone who comes out and watches us live. Even just coming on the live page is good for us. And it's good to see you. So, all right. So what else have we been playing?
You want me to talk about Gone Home?
Video games. Yeah, I've never played Gone Home.
Really?
Yeah.
Sorry, Bob. We only talk about games here.
Yeah.
That's the thing is, like, as I was playing this, I was thinking, like, why were people complaining that it's not a game? Because it's just as much as a game as Myst or as, like, fucking Seventh Guest. Like,
Well, come on, Bob. It's a non-game that exists just to push the lesbian agenda. Therefore, it's not a game.
right, because it's not about ghosts and it's not about
Tricks.
Some sci-fi thing. It's
Games have orcs and laser pistols
and male protagonists. God damn it!
and male protagonists.
That's right. And aiming down sights.
Aiming down sights. Yeah. I mean, it seemed kind of weird. Like the argument whether it's a game or not is just stupid. In my my perspective is that it's just. I mean, it's stupid to argue whether it's a game or not. There's no point in that conversation.
Well, it's basically just an adventure game, right?
It's an adventure game, basically. Yeah. I mean, it's an interactive. I mean, you could say it's an interactive story, but there's more than just it being an interactive story.
Do you have to?
I mean, there are secrets and there's puzzles in there that aren't just like in regards to the Seventh Guest. The puzzles were. Oh, we're getting ready with the shots.
Are we? Is there shots going on? Oh, there is. Shot!
Wait. Are we supposed to take shots?
Yes, you have to take a shot, Brad.
Oh,
that's what shots.
I thought they were just unhappy about us talking about Gone Home.
No.
So let me guess. So in like true, games of that genre, Bob, I would imagine there's a locked door, and in order to get the door unlocked, you have to go to a bank where someone dropped a banana, and you grab the banana, and eventually you find a knife, and you use the knife to peel the banana, and you put the banana on the floor, and then the person walks by and slips on the banana.
The guard walks by, slips on the banana, knocks himself unconscious, you get the key.
The key.
The key's not to the door you want, though. The key goes to another door.
Right.
To the teller's door.
And from there, you find a latch and a crank, and you have to put the latch and the crank together to find, and then you find a window.
Right.
No, not like that.
No.
Okay.
There's no inventory. There's no no kind of point and click thing. I mean, basically, the story, the game is putting the story together.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the game element. At least that's what I took away from it. Is it's trying to figure out what happened, and there are many narratives in this game. As opposed to just the main story, where you get the main story is basically you come home from you're playing an older sister out of a family of two. You have a younger sister. You come home from your time abroad in Europe, and your younger sister is gone. and you're basically it's trying the main story arc is trying to find out where your sister went. And you do that by finding her journal notes, and there's a narrative through there. But there are many subplots in this game, and a lot of it is trying to find the different clues and piece it together. Because there's stuff going on with a mother, there's stuff going on with a father, there's stuff going on with the different members of the family that are not explicitly stated in the story. They're not given to you directly. It's kind of like it's definitely in a game in that regards where you need to think about and you need to find and try to piece things together. And there are some clear messages in the game where you feel like, yes, I know what's going on with this character. I know what happened to this person. But there are some where it's not clear at all, and it may never be clear, even if you have all the information in the game.
But that's what makes it so much better than so many other games that want to cover all aspects of their story with just audio logs.
Absolutely.
Sitting everywhere. This feels natural, like you're putting it together yourself, and it's not being force-fed to you with some audio logs.
They feel like real people. Because who the fuck has everything detailing their lives in their house? Like, that's kind of ridiculous in expectation.
Yeah.
Like, this is more like the I guess the important part, which is the kind of the journal parts that your sister leaves you. That's pretty explicit. You kind of you know the game ends when you figure out, or rather when you get to the end of her journals. But the rest of the game, the information, story about the mother, the father, and the relatives, like that's all side stuff, and that's all kind of for you to explore and to discover on your own.
And in a very organic way. So many games struggle with Like you look at L.A. Noire or Murdered Soul Suspect or that last Batman game that tried to do detective modes, and it just feels so scripted and canned and just not the payoff is so unsatisfying because of that. While in Gone Home, like that's the best fucking detective game I've ever played because it feels real. It feels how I would actually rummage through someone's house to figure out what the fuck is going on. Yeah,
I was thinking, like, when I was playing through it, I'd be like, this would make a fucking brilliant detective game. Like, what if you were investigating a crime scene in this manner? Like, it's a non-violent game. You don't go into combat or any bullshit like that. Don't try to push all these other mechanics in there because they're just interfering with the core idea of investigating and trying to figure out what happened here. And there's no I guess with Gone Home you have less of a you don't have like a score at the end. You don't have a quiz at the end. You don't have something that says, "Oh, you didn't find all the clues." Like you don't have an audio cue playing when it's like, "Oh, this thing's important." Like there's none of that shit. It's much more of a kind of I guess an organic experience in that regards.
Yeah.
Like it's just whether you're gonna how much of the story you're going to take away at the end, and whether you actually kind of have a good idea of what you believe that happened, whether it actually happened or not. That's another argument. But it does some things that are very unique and very interesting that you just don't see, and it's not just about a game about a girl discovering that she's, or I guess she knew she was a lesbian for a long time, but it's not about this girl running disappearing and her being a lesbian. It's not this thing about feminism. It's not this thing about I mean, there are those elements in the game, but like the game itself its mechanics are so closely tied to investigation and discovery that the content doesn't matter at that point.
Yeah,
like it's a well structured game.
Yeah.
It's really well structured and it's really well executed. And I think that people get so upset about the content that they kind of neglect the fact that it's a very well-made experience.
Yep. I think a lot of developers could learn a lot from Gone Home.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I've never played it, but I've talked to you about this, Brad. Like I've always had a problem with the detective modes or the detective things that are pretty much just checking off the boxes. And once you check off all the proper boxes, bling, there's the answer. And then it always felt so stale to me.
Like why does there have to be like this solving mechanic to it? Why can't those games just give you a really detailed environment and you just try to put it. The payoff is how how well you think you put it together at the end of it.
Yeah.
You know,
And
like, that's so much more fucking atmospheric. You know, to a game where you're trying to solve a mystery that this thing is supposed to. There's not supposed to be this easy fucking fed to me solution. It's a goddamn mystery.
No.
Right. I mean, and there doesn't need to be a right answer.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest problems with these investigation games, or games where people are trying to so focused on, like, I need to get all the clues and I need to make the right answer. It's like, well, there's not a right answer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, you make the best decision on the information you have, whether you get all the information or not. I mean, that's how well you execute it, whether you can even put things together. Like, that's part of the experience.
Yeah,
and you can share that experience with other people and see, like, what did you take away from it? What do you think actually happened? There was no explicit answer in the game. And that's the kind of experience that, something like a Gone Home or something else that used a very, much more, I don't know what the word for it is. What is the word that people love to use for those types of games? Emergent
gameplay.
I don't know if that's really the right
It
term
would be
for
emergent gameplay. But I know what you're getting at.
Emergent's more of a, I guess it's more of like a sandbox and people creating their own.
Yeah, emergent's
but
all
in regards, it kind of is. You just give people, here's all the information, do it the way you will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or if you can get all of it.
Yeah. And and LA Noire almost had it. It almost had it, and then it made some really silly choices. Really silly choices. Well, I mean, closer than I see a lot of games try get there. It's no Batman where Batman is like, oh, just put the cursor on the thing and press the button and all the answers show up. It's
yeah,
kind of silly. It's kind of silly.
Imagine Gone Home and in an environment like BioShock.
Mm-hmm.
That would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, they had elements of that where, like, it's just a little bit of, like, looking at the environment and seeing and kind of trying to piece together a story.
Yeah, but there was never any mechanics behind it.
No,
It's like, isn't this atmospheric? You can kind of tell what happened in this room.
Exactly, yeah.
But it's not like,
It's not a part of the game, like trying to figure out where to go or how to change your behavior.
Yeah, there's something very satisfying when you feel like you're putting things together yourself, as opposed to an audio log explaining everything.
Isn't that that other game coming out supposed to be a little bit like that? But it's more of like it's when everyone's like, oh. It looks like System Shock, but it's actually underwater.
Oh, fuck.
It's called Fuck.
Yeah.
What the fuck is it called?
Everyone's gone to the Rapture? No.
No.
Soma.
Soma.
No,
That's
wait.
it. Soma.
No, wait,
Is it
what am
Soma?
I thinking of?
No. I'm thinking of
No, what is it?
It's when we're using the
Money.
camera. And the camera's kind of weird. I know
Well,
that's a lot of games now.
Are you talking about? There's the one that's there's the one that's in space.
No, everyone thought this was in space. They just took it for granted
you're
that it's in
thinking of
space.
Soma.
Yeah,
No. I'm thinking of a different one.
they took it for
No,
granted.
Joseph's thinking of Soma.
I'm thinking of Soma.
You're thinking of Soma.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think
Soma's-
of?
Yeah.
I was thinking of the fuck. Where is it?
Tetropolis.
You're looking at the Travelers. Oh man! So you're like, so at the end, you realize you look in a mirror and I don't know what happens at the end. You find out where your sister went. She went home.
You look in a mirror and you realize you have Down syndrome.
You're Ellen DeGeneres.
And you gotta leap. You gotta get back. But it's hard because you have Down syndrome.
Right.
No, this is an actual episode of Quantum Leap.
I remember that one.
Okay.
Oh, is it Quantum Leap? Is there really?
Yeah, he turns out he leaped into a kid who had Down syndrome.
That's a bad leap. That's a bad leap.
Yeah,
That's a terrible leap.
Do you remember the leap where he leaped into a pregnant woman and he gave birth?
I don't think I remember that one. I was just, what's funny? I was just before the show, I was listening to the Quantum Leap theme song for some reason.
That's a great theme song.
It is a good theme song.
It's an amazing show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really good.
Dean Stockwell. Man.
Oh man, have you played anything else, Bob, besides Gone Home and?
I've been playing some stuff. I've been playing because we're involved with the Indie Mega Booth. I've been playing a couple of betas, which I don't think I can talk about. Let's just say there's a lot of cool games coming out.
Doesn't help me, Bob. Doesn't help the show. You can't talk about it.
Well, anything that's been playable publicly at shows before?
Yeah.
Because in that case, I mean, you can at least say what they are, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. There was a lot of shit at E3.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, PAX is kind of one of those crazy things where there's just, fucking almost like 100 games just in the Mega Booth area.
Yeah.
It's insane. I've been playing some other shit. What else have I been playing? I played Payday 2 with Chris last night. He wanted me to mention that.
He didn't want you to mention. He wanted to make sure it got mentioned at least once.
At least once.
Story.
Even on the episode that he's not on, Payday 2 has to be brought up.
It's okay. Chris will always be here.
I did it to a very nice young girl.
He did.
The joy in his voice when he says that line.
Yeah, you could see his face just brightening up when he said it.
Fuck yes.
He's building a PC for Nick tonight is what's going on.
Yeah.
Is what's
Which,
going on.
hey, I'm a little disappointed Nick's not getting his hands on that stuff himself.
Mm-hmm.
But,
He would probably break it.
Ow.
I don't think Nick would break it, but I think Nick would be too nervous to do it.
No,
that's part of building a PC.
It's pretty difficult to break PCs. I was kind of trying to give him some helpful pointers in chat.
Mm-hmm.
It was depressing, but I realized that I built my first PC almost 20 years ago.
Wow. Yeah.
Which is, I think, either the average age in chat or higher.
I built my first PC in 1997 or 98 for the sole purpose of playing Half-Life.
Yeah, I built mine. I remember installing Windows 95 on it with about 30 floppy disks. We didn't have a CD drive at that point.
Right.
So you had to insert disk after disk after disk after disk to get this fucking thing loaded.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it was it might have been a 586. I can't remember what it was. It was a long time ago. Long enough that they had the turbo button on the front.
Mm-hmm. No, the turbo button. What was the turbo button even for? It was overclocking your PCU or something, CPU?
Oh, it was just changing the clock speeds.
Yeah. Turbo button.
There are some games you had to, if you ran it on turbo, they would run faster.
We're playing some Hugo's House of Horrors. Better hit that turbo button.
Kick it up.
Got my police quest going. Push that turbo button.
Shots, I guess.
Oh yeah, shot. Right, that's a water shot. That does not count. What kind of shot?
I think I'm getting close to done with this Four Loko.
Oh yeah,
it's awful.
Oh yeah,
it's a struggle.
Of course it's awful. Of course it's awful. Oh man.
Oh god.
See, I thought Nick had a PC. I thought he had one, but I guess him and Nolan broke up, So Nolan got sole custody of the PC, and now now Nick has. Why don't they live together? Did they not get along under the same roof?
Well, you know what? I bet they didn't, but I don't think that has anything to do with why. I think it's because Nolan moved in with his lady friend.
Oh, did he?
That's why.
Ah, okay. I had no idea Nolan and the lady moved in together.
Yeah.
God, I'm still working on Totoropolis as we speak. I'm building light maps.
Still?
Yeah.
Bob's been building light maps all day, and I've been doing assets all day.
No coding on Four Loko, Bob. What are you doing?
I'm not coding. I'm just compiling light maps. It doesn't require anything. I push a button every 50 minutes. I'm on the Balmer curve here.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm still productive until I get another beer.
Did J52 just make a Tamagotchi life of me and Bob?
Yeah,
is that what
it's
that?
brilliant. It's like
Oh my god! Have y'all played Tamagotchi Live?
I haven't.
No, I don't.
Dude, that shit's a trip.
What? No, what is it?
They talk. They talk. They do text to speech, and you can like tell them what to say, like and like make them do animations and stuff. Like so Malia's been playing it, and she made Carlos, and like I was like, let me fuck with this game, and I went into Carlos's room, and I was like, hey, and his catchphrase was "Game Over." And he even says it, and I'm like, well, your new catchphrase is going to be "I like wieners," but you don't just get to pick their catchphrase. I mean, they say it, but you also get to choose like the animation they do when they say it. Mm-hmm. So now Carlos is like, "I like wieners," and he dances back and forth as he says it. And you can even pick their voice. You can make it like super high pitched. Mm-hmm. And then there's a place where they go and like they'll sing. Like and I chose I said make Carlos a rap artist. So we go to the fucking club and Carlos starts rapping. Except I can make the raps for him and his fucking text to speech in the raps. And like me and Malia are like his backup dancers and we're in the back just fucking grooving as Carlos is rapping. Man, that game is weird.
You got to stream. You have to stream some of this. It sounds amazing.
I would love. I can't stream my 3DS. Nolan has the 3DS that can stream.
Right,
I need to get it from him.
Yeah.
That shit sounds like it would be fucking amazing to stream.
Good Lord. Yeah.
So is it like The Sims, basically?
No, we can't get into this. It's just weird. It's just people. It's just a people simulation. You're not telling them what to do. You're just. They're just people living in a fucking hotel and hanging out and like, I'll go hang out. I'll go to Carlos and say, "Hey, what's up, bro?" And he's like, "Man, I want to talk to Brad, but I don't know what we should talk about." And you like suggest something for him to talk about, and then he goes over to Brad's room and has a conversation with them, and it'd be like, "Man, it didn't go so well."
What?
It's romances bloom and shit, and it's all just fucking going, and you have very minimal like, you can like fucking feed people like they're goddamn animals, and they have like it affects their moods because they have like favorite foods. Like Carlos has fucking steak. I mean, he likes steak, so you feed him steak and he's happy and he starts going, "I like wieners. I like wieners." It's just weird. It's weird. You can like buy outfits for them and shit, and
this is for 3DS.
It's kind of like Animal Crossing, but with text to speech.
So J52 put up a picture. It looks like it's Brad and Carlos, and it's the rap. They're in a beautiful space.
It's weird because what you do is you put all the people and then you just start making celebrities because you can make them all. You can like set their personalities, but it's like there's like a weird, like a very fine like degree of these like they have sliders, but it's not like big boobs, little boobs. Mm-hmm. It's like serious or laid back, and there's like a bunch of sliders that affect like the personality of a person.
Right.
So and that'll affect how they interact with other people. So I can have like Carlos living next, like at the beach playing volleyball with Fred Durst or something, because I put those characters into my game and they interact with each other,
right.
And it's weird. It's fucking weird.
Is this for the 3DS?
Yeah, for the 3DS.
Actually, I only have a 2DS. I never actually got a 3DS.
What the? You have a 2DS?
I have a 2DS.
You have a DS.
Or a DDS. No, yeah, a DS.
Double DS.
Double
A
DS.
2DS is an actual thing.
No, I know.
3DS.
I have a DS. I don't have a 3DS.
Did y'all talk about Fred Durst streaming on here?
I did a little bit.
Okay, you did. All right.
I think a little bit, and
I don't remember.
yeah, I think we did a little bit. I remember saying that seeing Fred Durst made me feel 1,000 years old
Oh yeah, yeah.
because he looks like an old man now.
Yeah, well, no, he is an old man.
Did you see one of the editors from Kotaku was live tweeting his streams, and it was amazing. It was all just like, Fred Durst wishes he had a polo jacket. He thinks that would be awesome. Fred Durst turned up his mic. Fred Durst wants to do this. It was quite good.
Yeah.
It was quite good.
Sounds crazy.
It's kind of crazy. It was kind of crazy. All right, it's 10 o'clock. Brad, you want to stream. I know you want to stream. So let's do our final thoughts of the evening. My final thought, I'll go first, is I have no fucking idea. I will say, Brad, having you on has been good. We need to get you on more cocktail times. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, well.
Whenever you have time to get you back on here. Get Crispy on. Go Crispy.
Come back on, but fucking Chris Davis, he's got to talk about payday.
He's got to talk about payday. Chris has got to get his payday thing in. But hey, it was great. So anytime you want to come on, let me know. He's got to get paid.
Sure.
That's my final thought. Bob.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, you got to think of something.
Nice. My final thought is
Light maps.
Shit. Can I pass?
No.
God.
I'll just keep on looping the music until you're done.
Everything I'm thinking about, I can't talk about yet.
Really?
Shit.
Their final
I'm
thought.
I'm psyched out. I'm going to be going to the woods next week.
I'm
going to go be backpacking for like 3 or 4 days.
That was amazing. You'll be gone from Monday to Thursday.
I haven't done it in about a year. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? Well, you do outdoorsy stuff a lot.
I do go outside.
Yeah. I don't know why he does that.
I'm surprised you don't make a game about nature.
Nature? Yeah. Capturing rodents and drawing blood from them.
Out of their eyes. You draw blood out of their eyes, Bob.
Yeah, out of their eyes. Yeah. She doesn't let me draw blood.
Ticks.
What?
You know the rabbit that got hit by a car?
Oh, the rabbit that got hit by a car?
Yeah, he had ticks.
Tara's happy she found a dead rabbit with ticks this morning.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, I thought she
That's
said
my life.
You know, it's the little things that make you really appreciate life. The little things.
This is my life.
Yeah. All right, Brad, your final thoughts.
My final thought is I'm excited about games getting delayed and moved around. Because you know what? October is not going to be so bad now. Dragon Age is in November. Shadows of Mordor got moved up to September.
Yeah.
It got moved up. So now, hopefully, with each move and delay, as people move away, maybe the Evil Within might actually have a chance. That would be great.
That would be cool.
Because it's right there, smack dab in the middle of October. October, which is becoming not so bad. I really hope that game does all right.
Yeah. Well, from what you guys said of the new playthrough you played, I'm kind of excited about it. It would all even out. Things will get moving around. We'll see. I think it's going to do all right.
My final thought is we should all stop underestimating Shinji Mikami.
Mm-hmm.
The man is goddamn brilliant.
And play Divinity.
And play Divinity. Definitely play. Well, people know they should play Divinity.
They know that already. All right. Well, everybody, thanks for coming out for Cocktail Time Live here at 4PlayerNetwork.com. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Bob. Stick around, because Brad's going to be playing some video games on the stream right after this. You've been watching Cocktail Time Live here at 4PlayerNetwork.com. Make sure you check out our main website. We will see you next week. Good night, everybody.